I will say one of the best parts of actually having the um, audio controls at hand is being able to keep my music going up until I actually get the stream started, till I actually am ready to do stuff. It's really nice. Having said that, I did mess up my hotkeys there. So maybe I shouldn't be doing that. Also, I'd somehow ended up with my mic in the wrong position. So we can see that we have our save from last time. And I also ran through the bits again for two reasons. One, I remembered what the item I missed by the one item in the Eleanor scenario that I missed was, of course, a fire quell. And after the Eleanor scenarios, we unfortunately do not have access to anything. Well, after that first one, anyway. After this one, we do. I mean, Hellwingers, if we actually have to deal with them, would be real bad, but obviously, because we have different position than last time, and the reason for that is I stuck the Cinderforge sword on Rich. I figure most likely I'm not going to end up with that many skill ups anyway. I think the other Rich ended up with 5 or 6. I am going to, because otherwise he's never going to move, switch him over to Cannonball. And the rest of that should be fine. War God provides a damage boost for Patrick's skills, and he has almost 600 health. Eleanor actually has really good health growth as well, which is why she's surpassed Rich. Eleanor's basically, you know, actually a decent character, whereas Rich just sucks. Raymond's not the best as far as HP growth goes, but there's no problem with him as far as being a archer. Outside of the 3rd generation's archer, he's one of the better ones, which is always nice to see. Archer just doesn't have a lot of real requirements, so him not having great growths with most stuff, it doesn't end up being a huge issue. And of course Patrick's good with the relevant side. Tree and staff. He doesn't need anything else. MS SaGa messed with me. I was thinking the analog stick would do something. Now, I should have had Cannonball on Rich while running through before. Obviously, our younger characters will see more scenarios than our older people. But, No, despite Rich's stats not being good, he's still useful. He just, you know, doesn't gain anything. Without Cannonball on, though, he really wouldn't have much of a shot to gain stats. This party is pretty decent at killing things, and Eleanor's Firestorm is very powerful. And eventually we're actually going to see, well, quickly, most likely, we're going to see an oddity with the SP lower bound. Or at least it was an oddity when I was playing yesterday. I don't know if it is actually supposed to be like that. Basically, I was under the assumption that your SP lower bound is determined by your SP bonus from items, but I had Triad Grail is a Treequel. I had a Cross Branch on, and despite switching to the Dryad Grail, Rich's SP lower bound was the same. And you can see that the Cross Branch provides, what, 7, 8 fewer base SP. I actually have no idea where to go here. And I should mute that. I don't believe there's a huge amount of useful stuff here. Okay, that's not true. I know there's a bunch of items, I don't remember 100% where they are. And most of them aren't that great, as I recall. But yeah, if Rich's SP gets a lower bound of 21, we'll know that the Quell has, for some odd reason, the same SP lower bound boost as the Cross Branch. I don't get why that would be, though. It was either 21 or 23. I don't remember 100%. I didn't actually see what Rich gained because I was looking at something else. These narrow corridors are a pain. I think I've also already missed the Lake Robe, so I'll need to go back and backtrack. Because of course I would miss the one good item here. Also, I'm actually kind of surprised that Patrick's the one that keeps going second. Largely because Raymond is, you know, pretty close to your actual good distance for bows. Well, I'm gonna check. Dang it. What I'm gonna end up checking is if the Lake Robe is down here. But I think it was I was supposed to go down at the bend that I went right at. Ultimately, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, I messed it up. Mainly because, you know, as is pretty obvious, only Patrick's using something that actually goes, you know, will be used up. And I could honestly switch him over to, using spells if it starts getting actually low. What? No, 21 was what it was. What it should have. I don't understand the system, this game system sometimes. Don't understand it in the slightest. And if you're wondering why my mic suddenly got louder, it's I remembered that I need to angle it back a tiny amount so it's pointed at my mouth instead of at my throat. Well, upper chest, but throat would have probably been close enough. But having it actually pointed at my mouth works a lot better. And even though I don't have a camera, I was still pantomiming that, which is why enemies ran into me. When in doubt, it's pretty safe to assume the stupid answer as to why something happened was the correct one. Now, one nice thing that's been going on with Rich is he has been getting more HP than is normal. And the reason I say that's nice is he will actually be doing a fair amount of combat. I mean, Eleanor's normally the person who actually has the best HP growth of damn near anybody. Her HP growth is kind of nuts. But Rich normally, most of his HP comes from growing older. I also hate how I've gone from being sort of decent some of the time at avoiding battles to running into everyone again. And that should be at 80 uses, or not 80, 60 uses. No. Eventually we'll need to chip that. Not the lake road, the Stardust. And I didn't show off the Wisteria bow. It's got some uses, but the main thing is if we do end up getting, damn it, Soul Him, the Elven Lyre has some issues. If we don't end up getting Soul Him, it's completely and totally irrelevant, and having a Quell is the better option. Now, of course, the fact of the matter is only the 15th actually has a legitimate shot of learning Soul Him anyway. So we'll burn that bridge when we come to it. I mean, I say that, but I've already gotten several things that should have been at a lower learn rate, relative learn rate, than Soul Him will be with 15. I should not have multi-way being a major example. I got that one with Narcisse off the freaking skeleton of Han in the ruins of Han. And the fact that Patrick and Rich are mostly doing the same type of damage with, you know, their hybrid arts doing the same, while the gap between weapons is, you know, almost 50 attack, is a good example of how important the skill levels are. One of the reasons for that is the downside of area attacks tends to be cost, not reduced strength of any kind. Well, at least its name does tell you what to do with it. Rich's slow and gradual accumulation of skill levels seems to be getting him up there in damage. Ore ring's not bad. I'm pretty sure that red ore is part of the ore set. I don't know what its purpose is. Also, this screen will have some things that make it obvious why it's important to get up the towns after this scenario. I believe it's either 1 or 2 credit drops on this screen. Crown drops. Which, I mean, we're only at 1,000 crowns, and I mean, neither chips nor circulation are going to be important. I don't think I'm going to be getting any custom tools for 2 reasons. One of which is I don't think I have anybody above level 25 in anything anyway. I think I ended up just shy basically across the board. The second generation is also not the spot to be trying to get there, aside from Eleanor. Eleanor will probably end up north of 25 flame. Provided Rich doesn't keep killing everything at the start. He's actually doing a lot better already. Yeah, she needs one flame to get there, so. But it's not surprising, she is probably the second best mage. Best one being Will. And a lot of that's just Will is available for a million scenarios. Stats and general usability would push Eleanor up there, but second generation is pretty short. Not we're gonna finish it this time short. The dungeon scenarios do end up being time consuming. But and you'll no doubt notice that with the emulator, instead of being on the PlayStation, while the music is playing at the same speed, I'm not getting that weird slowdown in battles. That was me being dumb, using the wrong, incorrect part of the D-pad. That's not even, you know, it was on the hardware or it was on the game. That was just straight me being bad at it. So I keep having to mute my yawns, because I know that yawning is very annoying into a mic. Since I have a fair amount of gain, and I'm pretty sure my drinking water is being picked up as well. So I can only imagine how bad it would be for yawns and such. Mike may have been a little bit too close there. It's tough to tell. The wind shell's not that good, but it's useful for breaking. I don't even remember what the ranger bow is. Oh, it's an old tree tool. I also have no idea what this is. It's probably worse than the gem band, but quite a bit worse than the gem band. Well, part of the whole we're not using some of the defensive equipment we got is right now it's not necessary. It'll be useful Gen 3. for most of it. Some of it's not being made active use because they're stuck on characters and we've not gotten an equipment reclaimer in a while. I believe our last equipment reclaimer was Will versus Egg. I'm not actually 100% certain that that had an equipment reclaimer, but that's the most recent one we would have had. Which in game terms is a decade ago? Two decades ago? Years before. Oh, and you can actually just press X through those. Something I have determined through using rewinds is that does change the RNG for that very slightly. You're mostly just pulling from the same sets of items, same sets of stuff. You're not going to change your luck so dramatically that you go from, you know, say getting just crowns to getting I don't remember some of the stuff I got. Also, I don't remember where all we need to go in here. It is nice having a callback to this from the Will scenario. I was expecting this to actually be important. As I've stated a few times, I don't remember much of anything about Gen 2. So... oh, that explains it. The bridge is broken. There was nothing I could do here. Excellent. It must be useful to Kelvin somehow if, okay. Sometimes I just have trouble getting up the, stairs. Well, what essentially amount to stairs. The thinner paths. The regular arts on Rich are mostly there for fighting bosses. Obviously, he has no sustainability. He had even less when I was doing something really dumb last time. That really dumb thing is using a steel weapon and War God. Yeah. I think this will end up being the same amount of encounters one way or the other. Because if I went around, I would likely end up hitting both of the birds. And I might still end up hitting one of the birds. It's tough to tell. Rich is actually doing surprisingly well, though. Given his complete and total inability to learn anything, into the forest, I think it was called. The fact that he's picked up like 4 levels of sword has been real nice. Yeah. And... okay. I wasn't sure what we were doing. I thought we were just leaving, but I guess this is our boss. Oh, this is the same boss we fought with Will and Cody and that group. Now, of course, with Turtle Killer and with honestly much better weapons, even if our group isn't that much better, we should be a fair bit more capable here. And something I do actually rather like is, this shows that the spells do have a physical element. So just buffing up your defense will help against certain spells. Seems like the fire spells in particular also hit a little bit of the standard physical defense. Which is interesting, but I mean, fire's also the only people that really care about having access to stone, so... What a surprise! Rich didn't get any level ups while every... Are you serious? I have 2 of those now. That's not even the bad drop. That's the good drop. That's the good drop that doesn't happen. That's the drop that I spent like an hour just doing the gargoyle fight originally for. I do think Life Tree Island is the next scenario, but we don't want to do it. Not because we want to do Death of Cantal, that's way later. It's because we want to go and chip a whole bunch of stuff. You know, I'm just gonna drop a save state real quick. I don't believe there's an equipment reclaimer anywhere in these things. A really crappy beast dagger. When we started with the fossil sword. Also, I don't know why that wood sword is sorted behind the blast swords. I'm not even real certain on keeping the fossil sword, and that's a decent weapon. We are keeping the snake staff because it has almost quell-like SP and SPR plus. Will be a few scenarios before we have a chance to get the really good yeah, silence bow has no purpose now. Really good staff. So we're going to be keeping the... We'll dump the ice staff, but we will keep the sandworm staff for now. The To the Fossil Caves mission, as well as I think there's one after, both have a shot at giving you the best fossil, or not the best fossil weapon, the best staff. These actually don't look that bad. They're terrible for duels, but Stardust provides the same. It's star anima. Star anima is not a anima that you can raise, so it does not have a purpose for us. I'm gonna drop both the alligator armor and the caster cloth there. Yeah, the scale visor is, even the, you know, tool people know it's much worse. Okay, how many free slots does that give me? It looks like 40, no, 38. It's so weird having such a low number of slots. There's only, what, 64 slots in your inventory? Can't remember if this is the basically last scenario for Patrick or if it's for Raymond. I think it's Raymond. And yeah, you can hear me clicking away. Nope, looking at it, it suggests that it is in fact Patrick that we do not get again. And the reason I want to know is because I want to take the useful stuff off. And actually, if that's the case, we can chunk the staff as well. Chunk that 2-use fire charm. And we can put things that we want to store for later on him. The Wisteria Bow does not have a purpose right now. Neither, for that matter, does the Water Mirror. For the moment, we're not going to have anybody equipping gem bands. We've actually not really had that many people equipping rubber soles just because electricity resistance and some defense isn't that huge. Water access is plentiful, especially with 2 lake robes. And eventually we'll get that birch ring back. We want to keep those arc stones just in case. Green glass is super useful, but because basically everybody wants tree flame. Spear users especially. And I'll put the caster armor on just so that we are making sure to store useful things. And I'll put, you know, actually good gear on people. So that they're being stored, so that people who we will want back are being stored with good gear. The Fire Flake is obviously pretty similar to the Green Glass. Its defensive properties are not quite as good though. Really, all he's been doing is the Beast, so... Keeping Beast access is probably the important one. Especially since the scenario that he and Eleanor are going to show up in again. Well, Eleanor shows up in a few more, so that's why she has actual gear. But the scenario that Raymond will show up in again is nothing especially difficult. So I will keep stuff on him that I don't want to get accidentally chipped. Honestly, the buckler can get chipped perfectly fine. May as well do the snake staff. And since she will be recurring, I may as well do the Chris knife as well. The bonus SP regen and NSP will be mostly beneficial. I've mentioned a few times that this isn't actually that important. It still isn't. Yeah, I'm gonna chunk that. I'm mostly doing this so that I have plenty of slots available for, I think there's still going to be oak staves and lob bolts. Actually, let's drop a real save. because that's 8 minutes of screwing around I don't want to have to redo if, Oh, and I think we actually do have access to the tower. Yeah. Whoops. I hate that interface sometimes. And that is... Incidentally, that's my protection against both soft locks and hard locks. I have access to rewinds. It's only a time-saving feature in this case, but yeah. This is 46 oak staves. Which is going to translate into 460 chips? Viceland is still there mostly just for the purpose of fighting the megalith beast. Oh, I clicked that. These guys changed the shop? You know, I can't tell. And it is possible to make a profit doing this if you had somehow infinite access to Labholz and one of the shipping facilities. Because... more? Okay, maybe not this city. I may have been misremembering. I'm just gonna fill up the rest with stone knives. In case it's not obvious by what I'm doing, Eleanor's not actually the protagonist of this part. I mean, she is insofar as she is the relevant character here. Right now, but long term she's not. Yeah, tree is what he needs access to for dual purposes. And this is the flame coil that we picked up. Flame is super useful, and having both flame and tree, and the fact that that nulls psyche makes it additionally useful. The red scarf has an oddly high SP improvement. Obviously other quells are pretty similar, but it's not a quell, it doesn't have anima, it doesn't have anything. And I'm looking at stuff because quite likely I'm going to be giving our next party member the Ice Lance. And I'm thinking about how I want to do that. Flame and tree. And that covers that. And that covers incinerate. It may not be viable, is basically what I'm getting at. But fortunately, the next few scenarios are all very easy. Largely because even the game knows that Rich sucks. And I didn't break those, did I? No, I did. I'm out of... Okay. But yeah, even the game knows that Rich kinda sucks. And by kinda, I mean very sucks. Now we do Life Tree Island, which is one of the most important scenarios. Also, Narcisse's color palette slightly changed. I did not remember that. Obviously his normal robe, though, was quite a bit brighter. I don't know if I'd go that far, Narcisse. Rich still kinda sucks. Good idea, Narcisse. If somebody's gonna die on that island, it needs to be Rich. Also, look at the town we're in. Look at the town we're in. Look at who we can steal items from. What's that? Is it everybody aside from Sealmer and his Silmarillion? I have no idea where I put stuff. Gustav's dead stones are going to be super useful, but that is much later. Honestly, I'm just going to grab every quell. Because I am a giant moron, and that's how I work. Eleanor stuff today. Okay. So. That's interesting. That none of these are actually providing a further boost to SP. But yeah, because we have that stuff, actually I shouldn't put that on him. I should probably just put the Knight Medallion on him. Why didn't I break the work gloves? I could have had one additional oak staff. That would have been probably 15 additional chips. Oh wait, it would have been one fewer knife though. So 10 additional chips. It would have ultimately ended up being just the... Wait a second. Wait... Okay, I guess we're not leaving that way. Is it the river? Oh, bud, do you... Okay. Nope, when I say I don't remember Gen 2, I really mean that I don't remember Gen 2. It looks like it is actually just going to be a solo scenario for Rich. I know that this, and I think the next one, have the possibility of running entirely solo. And if you go solo next adventure, it really messes with the player's perception of the plot. Not the plot, as doesn't do anything meaningful to the plot. Oh, I guess that's ice. I think all of the treasure here is Arkstones. No. No, that's not true. All of the visible chest type treasure is Arkstones. Damn it. And I'm trying to avoid battle because I don't like fighting with Rich. And of course all of these are going to be duels. Fortunately, Bear Bull Crush. Sorry. Is very powerful. Also, I really like how the Center Forge sword looks very, very thin. I can't remember which way to go. I think this is actual progression. And this is actually nothing. Thanks, game. I guess the ship it is. Also, for some reason, I can't think of ships without thinking of some of the various... What in the world are we fighting? Grendel, huh? Fire ships, and the one that immediately comes to mind, because I played the game for way too long, is the fire ship from one of the raids in Rift. Which was a decent MMO when it was at its best. But... a lot of that was it get at a point when I was not willing to go back to WoW, but wanted a MMO. Who would have thought that Burning Crusade raiding burnout would take, you know, a decade or so to clear out. Oh, what's that? Most of the raiders? Or at least on the guilds chasing world firsts. Okay. At least the fights here are nice and short. I understand that's because the game knows that Rich sucks, but I just wish that there was a use for the fights because we don't have any benefit. It's pretty unlikely for Rich to get skill ups here. Okay, so we need to come back down from the top. Going left. I did not even look where I was going, I just went left. Now, see, this is a good example. We've seen fairy hoppers. Fairy hoppers have, I think it's twice as much health as dirt hoppers. We're fighting enemies that in Will's scenarios, start of the game, came in groups. But I suppose Will was also never quite as bad. Yeah, I think we've already passed the point where arc stones are really going to continue being useful. But, I shouldn't say past the point, we've passed the number where arc stones will really continue being useful. And here we are. You might notice there are 5 seeds on the ground. We want to get all of them because they are very important. It's also one of the reasons why I wanted to make sure I had plenty of inventory space. Way more than was necessary for the, I think it's a grand total of 8 items we could get in this scenario. Not including the other stuff. Now, you may wonder, what's so special about these? I mean, obviously they don't do much equipped. It's that fully restores 1 character. That's HP, that's LP, that's WP, and that's SP. Given that I've already stated that arc stones tend to not be that useful because the SP restorative effect just doesn't help that much. Getting SP when that reduces your efficacy is just not that useful. Why then would I be saying that something that does that but to 1 character is good? It's the LP restorative effect. It's the only LP restorative effect. Oh, so we can see the ship, but we can't get down to it. And actually, this scenario has been pretty decent for skill levels, by which I mean we got a skill level in swords, I think. If nothing else, we've gotten a fair number of WP level ups, which isn't that useful, but since I only use WP normally for multi-way and things like boss battles, that's odd that we got a timely action, but didn't off the better ability. Huh. I mean, I was checking out the ship because it's a unique set piece here. It clearly... Oh, I don't remember this at all. I'm not sure what the... This ship looks pretty similar, and I know this is just entirely because the game uses 1 ship set piece. Oh, crab battle. That's neat. I believe... Oh, I never set roll, so this will be interesting. I believe we're at near ideal distance for... Okay, I think this one's going to end up being very easy. I believe we're at near ideal distance for swords. Not that it mattered, since that was 2 turns. The giant crab had 6,000... Jesus. Also note, chips, not crowns. Chips, not crowns. Wait. I don't want to screw this up. So sure, I could end up getting into a battle with, well, crappy stats and all that jazz. That's fine. Oh. That's what that offshoot was for. And we have no choice once we come back. We can't just leave. For whatever reason, I was thinking that it was once you got near the boat. And you just give Narcisse every seed in your inventory. And we probably shortened Narcisse's life. Your equipped stuff is not your inventory. Well, that's ominous. Also wide. Also notice Cody back there. Also, Mother will be happy. One, I'm pretty sure that should be your mother, because obviously both Nina and Will's mother are dead. 2, that's the same line regardless of whether it's Cody or LaBelle. I don't think that has anything to do with the translation. I think that's just they didn't remember. And Rich is asking about the egg. 1, how the hell does Rich know about the egg? How known is Will's obsession with the egg if Rich knows about it, given that he would have been 1 in Will versus the egg? And we see that Will is still obsessed with it. Also, this is, again, I think a better looking version of Will's sprite. But where is no place that no human can get to it? And I think it's pretty obvious that Rich is tired of putting up with Will's obsession with the egg. I mean, obviously he doesn't have the whole story, but I don't remember what we actually can do here now. I don't know why it dropped us off back here. Maybe so it's so we could use the equip proclaimer. I kind of also wish we could use them as storage, but that would be a bit too video gamey, I think, for this one. Oh, I think the shop has been updated. Yeah. The stuff here is a little bit better. It's not good, but it's better. I don't know where that... Okay, now I have really no idea where the game wants us to go. Ah. Also, I'm sure Narcisse is sitting there wondering about Rich there. I assume that Rich has already started his reputation as a womanizer. And we are going to start the most important, well, arguably most important, scenario for the 3rd generation. Long before we will meet anyone in the 3rd generation. That's cool. I'm pretty sure Rich doesn't think so. Oh, hey, another equipment reclaimer. It's almost like the Rich scenarios are, you know, based off the Will scenarios. There's one reward in particular, and it's a drop. That is very good from there. Also, that's a very, very important line. And since I've not talked to this lady... Man. Rich, 100% about hitting on ladies. And that's pretty metal. Okay there, Yoda. So he's gonna try to strike at Rich, but there is no try. And then she needs access to fire somehow. Wait. To fire somehow. And then we just give her Twin Dragon. And Beast Lightning for good measure. Also with that WP regen, she'd probably be fine with whatever. But I mean, look at those growths. That's... if those don't shout Cody to you, you know, it's just one of those things where, unfortunately, there's not a lot of scenarios left for Gen 2. Tree Flame. I don't even think I need to bother with Snake Blaster. Also, Heavenly Strike is super weird. It's some of the time it's better for combos. It's better for certain combos than Beast Lightning. But of course, most of the time it doesn't do as much damage, and it combos with certain things that are mostly weird. Tends to combo well with magic. And specifically water magic. The Call Thunder and Heaven's Thunder. I'm gonna be right back. I need to grab a little bit of water. And I guess I was thirsty because after refilling the glass, it's already back to half empty. I should be fine for the stream, though. So, a mysterious cave that kills everyone who enters. So, of course, we are going to enter all by ourselves. Well, hey, coral rings. I mean, we have 2. We definitely don't need more. I like that the exchange rate goes up. It's one of the things that makes the 3,000 credits actually be a positive money-making thing if you're doing oak staves. Of course, you've never had the opportunity to do a whole bunch of oak staves. And we are going to pop into the cave and then pop back out so that I don't end up being a liar. Because I said that these 2 were going to return. Yeah, I mean, there was monsters in there. You know, I think anybody with the chin strap like Rich would answer that one just by walking away. He looks like a wrestling villain. And that is amazing. Both of them have 420 health. Not one, but both of them. That is impressive. The only way it would be better is if Raymond had 69 WP. It's just beautiful. Also, Rich is surprisingly not being awful. God. I can't believe that you know, Diana doesn't look like a war god. She's clearly the most war god person here. There's not a lot of reason to change Rich off Cannonball. The sword and the just how good Gale Blade? Gale, whatever the heck it is. Tornado Blade, that's what it is. We'll make it so that he never really has to worry about damage. And so, I am going to... Well, once the fight's over, I'm going to drop a save. Because there is a very important scene drop here. And because I do not know what weapon I am going to use for the one person in Generation 3 who has a choice of weapons, and because, honestly, I kind of would want one of these for the actual intended staff user anyway. Oops. She can safely do Firestorm. But yeah, there is a... I think it's a granite staff? Oh, I forgot to drop an actual save. I'll just drop a save state in here. I dropped a second one. Now, Diana's not getting a chance to show it off because, obviously I'm focusing more heavily on doing stuff with Rich. And I can't remember if the scene drop is just anything with this background, or if it's specifically the rhinos. So, I'm perfectly happy to fight everything that we come across. Oh, and I forgot to show off the name of the spot with the life seeds. Or at least I forgot to consciously show it off. It was called Fairy Island. I may have shown it off incidentally. But I didn't think to comment on it. Now, obviously these are not especially difficult encounters. Oh, and the change to Rich's name is permanent. He is Rich Knights from now on. Oh, I think I wanted that. I think that was in the first room. I think I needed to go southeast exit, or east exit. So if I was doing this not on stream, it would be in turbo speed, which for this hawk is I think only 200% or 400%. And it messes up the audio for a little bit coming out of it. Because I do the one that doesn't have the audio side playing most of the time. Also, I can see my Gmail open in another tab, because it was either that or Twitter, or close the window, and I didn't really want to close the window. And for whatever reason, it's resizing the text every once in a while. I got the important drop. I got one of the important drops. This way, even if we were to get a actual hard lock of, like, my system, we would still be fine. It's not a quill. It's very much not a quill. Let's compare it against the stone knife. It's got the same basic thing as the stone knife. Sandworm staff, snake staff, both provide more SP, both provide more SPR, SP regen. Yeah, Diana's just not gonna end up getting to really fight. Oh. I guess it wasn't an item. Damn it, game. I mean, having said that, for pretty obvious reasons, I do want to try to get a second granite staff. And I don't know if that's just scene or if that's just the scenes with the rhinos. We do visit here on another time, but... Man, I can't believe that Rich is actually turning out decently. I don't think that Rich would be this good if I had kept him with spears. I say that because I've never had him be decent with spears. Also, I have no idea if any of the pickup items here are worthwhile. That's not true. I know at least 2 of the items here are worth chipping. I don't know if any of the items here are worth keeping. I don't believe they are. So, I mean, obviously we will be trying to get additional granite staves, but the unfortunate part is, you know, we have good unlimited use versions now of every weapon, but our character selection is going to be a bit more limited. We've already passed the best, well, the relative best spear users. And the best ones available in the final scenario, one of them can't use spears. The 15th has 2 locked weapons. Yeah. Fun times. Fun times for all. Now, if I'm being real honest, one of the reasons that I would prefer to do my grinding here is the other time you visit this, you do not have a party. It's not a huge difference, but it is a little bit more annoying. I was not expecting this one to also be a skeleton. Maybe all of the skeletons in this are skeleton. Well, no, that's probably not true. Probably like half or 2/3 or something. I will check every one that I come across. Because I just know that the, first one I don't check will be a quell. I know a quell's actually in here, but they don't want Rich actually being a good digger. He's not demonstrated anything of the sort. Huh. I don't think we can actually get up here. Also, Diana's pose, I'm pretty sure, only looks at all not strange with spears and staves. Oh, and skeletons that aren't items respawn, apparently. That's annoying. Let's see if we have luck with this rhino encounter. Antler spears are also not super common, so... Well, I mean, no drops are super common, regardless of what my luck has seemed to show, not shown. like I said, I'm pretty sure that the staff is actually part of the scene drop, not the rock rhino drop itself. Or else anytime you fight rock rhinos, it would be a good time to grind them out. But, assuming that's correct, any of these encounters should be perfectly fine for this. Obviously, we've only had drop luck with the rhinos, though. I just wanted to make double check and make sure that we had not, hey, actual moving around skeletons. Had not equipped one. Probably be keeping my controller away from the microphone. Probably also be less of an issue if I had something other than a condenser mic. Hey, it's trash. I mean, the water mirror is hardly ever going to get used. And that's where the lava shield is worse. I mean, I don't even know that it actually is going to get used in Gen 3, and that's why I left it on somebody. Is for use in Gen 3, but I think that other things are just better. Too much better. Huh. Haven't had that audio artifacting before. Dang it. Or I probably have and just haven't noticed it. Rich seems to be pretty desperate to prove me wrong about him being worthless. I'm not complaining, but kinda weird. Might be because, you know, Rich just keeps ending fights, so he's the only person who's really, getting much of anything out of this. looks like any of them will hit all of them, so that's good. Rich should kill the skeletons. I don't know exactly how much health they have, but he's been one-shotting most things, so... Rich just kicking ass and taking names here. Yeah, Twin Dragon with a good but not great strength weapon on somebody who has no skill in anything is still a fantastic attack. Man, this FMB looks bad. Like, I know there's a lot of detail. And it is, you know, 240p originally, but... just looked surprisingly bad. Ah, so actually I don't know which way we want to go. Oh. Is this the... I have no idea where we are. What's the purpose of this screen game? Also, actually, I want to go back and show something. This, right here, the little bit of land over Rich, very strongly reminds me of some of the architecture that we saw in Paladin's Quest. Oh. Oh. We saw both of these screens before. So we can get back either way. Obviously we didn't get a second granite staff, but that's livable. I mean, worst case scenario, we have a granite staff. The final generation consists of one staff user and one person who's good with both staves and swords. And that does leave the Cinderforge sword open for them. Darn. In case we ever get to a time where she actually gets to cast spells. Rich continuing to be oddly not terrible. Where was this in literally any other time I played this game? Who knows? I'm actually amazed that Eleanor's not at like 600 health though. Normally Raymond doesn't do much of anything aside from leveling up his bow. And Eleanor ends up pretty fantastic. Of course, normally Diana actually gets a turn ever. Fossil. I have to imagine that that's like the fossil sword, but crappy. Yeah. That is a lot of uses, though. That's just a skeleton. But I'm going to be running into all of these rock rhinos on the way out, mostly just to try to get a chance at another granite staff. I know the odds are low. That's the reason I'm making a save here. It certainly doesn't seem like 4 hours ago game time we were still dealing with Will. It seems like 4 hours ago game time we were still dealing with Rich. Part of that maybe because of the hard lock. I don't even think I ran into any of those bird enemies this most recent time. Of course, I don't know if I picked up the item that I got when I got the hard lock. Maybe that item just causes the hard lock. I doubt it. clockwise. Oh, is that locked off and I actually need to go around? Did I choose the wrong way to go? Man. Extremely fuck you game. So I'd love to sit here and say that I'm paying more than the slightest bit of attention to the video game, but I've not actually looked at the screen since before the last fight started. Something about the realization of I went the wrong way. And I should have gone down instead of, what, up? Living with the consequences of my 50-50 action. And this is kind of the problem of mid-game SaGa. It doesn't really matter if it's one of the games where you get ridiculously powerful, or if it's just where the enemies kind of peter out while you're still growing more powerful. Mid-game SaGa just tends to have the issue of the fights aren't memorable. And worse, in most of the SaGa games, that means you're still using up weapon uses, item uses, because you need to do damage. But you're not getting anything out of it. You're not even maintaining parity, you're actively getting worse. Because you have to rely on your backup weapons. It doesn't make it any more difficult. It's just annoying and tedious. I think that's just a skeleton. Much like this was just a skeleton. And this is just a skeleton. And they're all just skeletons. Now that I'm in the bit that I can actually fight these things and then get the hell out, I'm gonna drop a save. Also down here. And in case the way that I de-equip them of anything of value once we get close to the cave exit doesn't make it obvious, this is the last scenario for Raymond and Diana. Now, it's not the last story occurrence for Diana, which is weird. As she is about as notable as that one ghoul in the ghoul tower who stated that she was the only sane one. Except that ghoul's memorable because every other ghoul attacks you. And I kinda hate to say it, but these are the worst types of fights to grind out. Like the gargoyle and the enemies that, you know, I needed to refight over and over again for their drops in... Whoops. I said I was gonna do it and then forgot about it. I think Grant Staff's not gonna matter for a while. I'm not 100% certain when I'm going to have access to an equip reclaimer is the issue. I'm pretty sure once we start the final generation, we will have access to it. So... Oh, yeah. This is the main thing I want to do. I don't think there's a spear user in the interim. So assuming I'm correct about that. I mean, there's also never really another good axe user because axes don't have good enough arts to stay useful, and actually I should have been chipping these anyway. Really, the only thing that I would want weapons for now is access to certain particular animas, elements. Yeah, those are all things that are perfectly fine to leave on them. I mean, I'm gonna want some decent gear this next thing, but it's not that important. At least partially because I don't remember a thing about the character here. I know that it's rich being rich. I don't know why we go to Westia either. It's pretty far from the spot we just showed. Okay. We don't really need to buy anything. Ah, Eleanor. SaGa Frontier 2. Now, Julia is, well, she fits Rich's MO. She's 20. Also, she's much better with swords and just all around than Diana was. Eleanor is still Eleanor, and Sargon's 20 years younger than her. And quite likely that fits her MO. Most likely when Witch joined up with her, she was 20. Which plays into Julia and Diana. Well, you know, they both know their types. Sargon's pretty good with a sword. Oddly, he doesn't come with any arts, and Julia doesn't come with many decent arts. With Rich actually turning out pretty good. Oddly, I was expecting Sargon to have a much higher sword skill than Rich by the time we got here. Sargon actually has one of the better sword growth rates. Obviously, he does not have any SP. Regen naturally. He has SP, he can cast spells, he just doesn't start off with anything. I don't know what preemptive is, and I don't know what decoy is. Decoy's probably not gonna be that good. Yeah, it's probably for the best. Just not even really bother with equipping them. He has access to tree. He needs access to tree. I'm we'll probably forget to unequip him, so I'm just going to give him a branch if we have one. And Sauron's probably mostly here as a reference. He does show up later. Okay. I believe the right side has treasure. And the left side has actual aggression, so... Now, the treasure doesn't need to be fantastic for it to be worth it. Coral spears really are not fantastic. You know how we have that ice lance and nobody's actually using it? What in the world is this? Imagine that, but worse. In fact, it's one of the worst spears available. I think it's the second worst spear. And it's water, and it's not a quell. It's music owns. I forgot to check what the name of the enemy was. At least I'm somehow getting able to show off avoiding enemies. I say right as I run into an enemy. I'm not even real sure I want to avoid enemies with this music, though. I wish it was balanced slightly better, so that it was not drowned out by the menu effects. Can't believe that Rich is gonna be the one that gets fucking 25 sword first. Most likely, anyway. Fucking Rich. As I then, while trying to get my controller out of the oral range of the pickup range of the microphone, slam it into my desk, because I'm that clever. Also, Julie has a much better finish. Victory pose, that's what I was looking for. Yeah, we have plenty of inventory. this is actually being a useful demonstration as to why the Cinderforge sword can be very powerful. Obviously, there's no real good sword user for it in, well, most of the time. I mean, you're basically sitting there looking at, in Gen 1, your sword user is Gus. Gus either has access to a sword that's close enough, or you won't have the weapon yet. Gen 2, it's rich. Gen 2 does not have a lot of especially powerful characters. I have no idea where the hell we're going. Now, this does suggest that Rich is a pretty good digger, even if he's not necessarily hugely successful. Being able to recognize immediately that which parts are broken and which parts need fixing and which parts are, totally beyond repair would seem to suggest that he has at least a decent understanding of the mechanical side here. That's probably pretty important. Especially given that in all likelihood, hey, water, the digging ends up being kind of a combination of engineering and fighting on occasion. And in story, he's supposed to be, pretty decent at both. Normally, he doesn't end up being a very good fighter, but there is always an exception. I mean, most of my characters have ended up pretty much standard. Mostly lower health. Well, than I normally had. I might have gotten into more fights than this. And these teams have. I try to avoid fights, I'm just not always successful at it. Also seeing that even with a pretty crappy weapon, Sargon is still pretty decent. Swords are fairly capable. Hey. I mean, it's trash, but... more chips. Chips on chips on chips. I don't even look at what most items are made of anymore. I just think of what their value is in chips. Also, it strikes me that because the game knows that Rich is supposed to suck and gives you crappy enemies as a result, it is incredibly boring. And even the boss encounters. Are pretty boring on Rich's side. And we will get the name this time. I will hit X a couple times and then we will see what the heck this thing's called. Maybe. Damn it. Isn't that a Egyptian crocodile god? Is that single limb? I don't know. Dang it. Oh, and for anybody who was here at the start when I had my schedule up, which will also make sure I'll try to remember to go to. At the end, it mentions me being the laziest moderator for Arcade Pit on Sundays. Speaking of which, there's also going to be an Arcade Pit tonight. Finishing up the... Smite is finishing up the tournament. So it will be, I think it's the Proton John team match. I don't recall who they're facing, but that will be in about an hour and 40 minutes at Twitch TV/Smite 7IGHT. And this is one of the better sets of legs. And the other good set of legs is Titus Greaves, which are pretty similar defensively and then provide stone anima, which would be great if stone anima was worth it, or that stone anima was difficult to get, or anybody other than your flame mages ever wanted it. But the fact of the matter is, flame mages are it. I think I went the wrong direction at some point in time. I think that there was supposed to be another one that I was supposed to have found. And we're seeing some pretty decent luck with avoiding fights. I will never actually keep the controller in a spot where it won't be heard. But maybe we're supposed to go at the westmost exit rather than the northwest exit. It's almost like in this almost utterly forgettable second generation, the dungeons themselves are also pretty crappy. This one's not even that bad, it's overly easy because I have things like the Cinder Forge Sword. And that's really the only thing that I have that I shouldn't 100% have. Okay, so we're up here now. Is this just another entrance from... It is. I think we went this way this last time? Maybe it's the other way? Yeah, looks to be the case. So instead of going a room away, I went to the near end of dungeon and got upset about the game not letting me continue. I swear I'm not 5 anymore, guys. But you couldn't tell it by how I can't keep my controller from hitting a dang desk. This, and we will hear water flowing, which you might... thanks for the host. You might think that water flowing noise is an indication that we got the pumps working. But no, we pumped the water out of a single room. I don't remember exactly where that room is because went over the entirety of the... Oh, here we are. Went over the entirety of the dungeon before realizing where the other parts came from. Sometimes clicking over to other things works, sometimes it does not. Background input is very finicky right now for some reason. I believe this is... no. Okay, I was apparently misremembering what to do. Excellent. Is it under here? I won't say no to more skill levels, since that will make the various custom tools slightly more likely, but I don't think any of the custom tools are going to be that useful. Mainly because I will have access to Paladin Spear and Bow, Cinderforge Sword, the Granite Staff. What else is there? Axes suck and Martial sucks, so I have access to a 50-ish attack, infinite use weapon for most of the rest of the stuff. And of course a 70 use sword, or 70 attack, infinite use sword. So we really aren't too concerned about the custom tools, especially since none of them are that good. The circulation to get things that are equivalent of the life seeds is probably the best use of chips and crowns we have. Especially since not only do we have 3 lake robes, we managed to luck into 2 blackstone armors. Okay, I guess now we go to the station that was above it. Here. Where do we go now? Oh, I remember this part. I end up hating it every time. Except this time, because I remembered it. I think first time I spent an hour just hitting X on basically everything because I couldn't figure it out, and it's not obvious. You are never able to get past Rebel. Like, knee-high rocks normally stop you from moving. Including in this scenario several times. It is really dumb. Also, I can't believe that Rich seems to be stopped at 24 sword, which I think he entered this scenario with. And we want to hit all of these. I'm assuming, really. I assume that these are basically creating a water level up to this point. Like pumps. Huh. Couldn't even see the enemy. Or I couldn't. It may have been visible, but I sure didn't see it. Ooh, a gem band. Those are actually good. In addition to the 3 SP enhance, which is a variable amount of basically magic resist, depending upon your maximum SP. The gem band just has really good defensive stats. And one of the reasons it has such good defensive stats is just even its base armor is like 8, which is huge for something that's not actual armor. And it makes it pair very well with the Lake Robe. But yeah, as to why the Blackstone armor that I mentioned is quite so ridiculous, that we got 2 of them. We've fought 2 enemies that can drop them. The gargoyles. I believe we would be told if we accidentally missed a valve here. And I forgot to change equipment for the extra characters there, but that's not really that much of a concern. I believe... Actually... I'm not sure we'll have another good chance to do lob bolts and such. So let's break down some stuff and get stuff we want to equip or keep equipped. Because I think Sargon has one more scenario, but I think this is the last scenario for basically everybody else. Yeah, that's actually fine, keeping that stuff on her. And I'm not seeing much issue with Sargon's gear. Yeah, the coral spear is awful. I'll keep that just in case. There's just not a lot of reason to keep a shield that's strictly inferior to the water mirror. I mean, we're getting to the point, we actually have the armor where things that aren't Blackstone or Lake Robes really should just be getting destroyed. Okay, so we have a fair number of pretty good pieces. I don't know if Loveholt still has its oak staves, so I want to check on that. It's not as good, but holly staves are still, I'm pretty sure are still 10. And it's looking like, based off timing, I am going to be finishing this stream on a cliffhanger. Which is, of course, made worse by the fact that then it will be the weekend. So instead, I'm going to do just the next story mission, and not the one after that. I think that's a little bit less mean. And that is, of course, Death of Cantal. And we're never really given a real reason as to why Thermes was being ruled by Cantal. Thermes, of course, being the capital, essentially, of Gustav XII's Merchman Finny Kingdom. Finny. That's the word I was looking for. I'm really curious as to what those swords the front guards are carrying are. Probably just like blast swords or something of the sort, but they're neat looking. Yeah, the game doesn't really go into it, but he has like 100 concubines or some shit like that. Yeah, there's a lot of one-off sprites that, I mean, I guess it makes sense if art's the cheap side, but I mean, Cantal's supposed to have like 100 or something like that heirs. It kind of blows the mind. Boggles the mind, rather. And I think we see Philippe III. That's like the second time we get to see him. I think this is the last time we get to see him. Interesting. Yeah, the hair is kinda strange. Now, one of the things that I do actually like is here you can see that Nicolette has the same color hair as some of the just generic ladies. Ah, so Charles is a dick. That's... Well, to a certain extent, it makes sense. Charles being a dick. Because Marie and Kelvin are blonde, and Charles is not. He might also be Cantal's kid. I do think that is going to be it for this time, because the next scenario is the egg scenario, the story one before a relatively short but still actual adventure side. So, thank you for stopping by. And actually, I do want to bring up the schedule again just so that I'm getting in a decent habit there. Yep. See ya.